if f is a map from this pointed space this to this pointed space this, means what does it mean? It means that f is a continuous function from x to y such that fx naught equal to y naught. So if f is a map from this pointed space to this pointed space, then there is a homomorphism from fundamental group of x based at x naught to fundamental group of y based at y naught, and it is defined by f star. Probably I use notation phi there. So f star, let me write this alpha class alpha loop class alpha. It is nothing but class of f composed alpha. So what is f composed alpha composed f? Alpha composed f will be a loop in y based at x naught if alpha is a loop in capital X based at x naught. So we have seen that f star is a homomorphism. Now we have some more observations. So some more observations are there. First, if psi from x naught to y naught and phi from y naught to z naught are maps, then this we'll have phi psi composed phi, okay, star. So psi composed phi will be a map from x naught to z naught. So pi1 is a functor from pointed topological spaces to this groups, to the category of groups. So next what we are going to do is we will prove one result. So proposition. So fundamental group of Sn is trivial, right? If n is greater than or equal to 2. So we will prove it. Proof. So let f be a loop in Sn at a base point x naught. Now if the image of f, if the image of f is disjoint from some other point some other point x in Sn, what does it mean? If f is not surjective, okay. so so you should not means wonder that means this uh, from I to Sn there is no surjective function, so you should not be surprised, right? So it may be possible, in fact. Uh, so you might have seen, I mean, heard about space filling curve. Okay, so you can find a surjective continuous function from here to square I cross I. So you should not be surprised with that. So if the image of if f is not surjective, it means that image of f is disjoint from some other point, at least so is disjoint from uh, at least at least one other point x in Sn, then f is null homotopic. Homotopic because uh, because Sn minus x is homeomorphic to Rn, which is contractible, right? So you know that we have already seen that Rn is contractible, right? So it is up to you. So I leave for you to verify that this is homeomorphic to Rn, right? So I leave it for you to verify. you can try to find out homeomorphisms, right? So you can try from your sources, okay? Uh, uh, so this is an exercise for you. So if this is if Rn is contractible, then Sn minus x also will be contractible. And hence, if f is any uh, loop in Sn minus x, then it will be homotopic to uh, a constant loop, and hence f is null homotopic. Uh, thus, and hence it means that every loop in Sn will be null homotopic. It means that Sn has trivial fundamental group. So B will be done. So thus it is enough. Thus it is enough to prove that prove that prove that every loop in Sn is homotopic to a loop which is not surjective. Okay. because if we have a loop which is not surjective, then by this argument it will be null homotopic, and hence the original loop will be null homotopic. So what we are going to do is this. Let B be a small, let B be a small open ball containing in Sn containing x which is not equal to x naught, and x naught is not in B, right? So we will choose B to be small enough so that it does not contain x naught and it contains x. So so what we'll do is so the set F inverse B. So we have already chosen a loop F, right, with base point x naught. So the set F inverse B, because B is open, so F inverse B is open set in 0, 1. Why? Because F is a continuous map. F from I to Sn is continuous, okay, and F this x naught does not belong to this B, okay. So F inverse B is going to be an open set in I, that is 0, 1, okay. It means, but just see that F inverse B, because x naught does not belong to B, F inverse B does not contain 0 and 1, right? So 0 and 1 is not in this, okay. It means F inverse B is a subset of 0, 1. Why? If 0 and 1 are in F inverse B, then B is going to contain F0 and F1, but F0, F1 is what? F1 is nothing but this, because x naught is base point. So F0 equal to F1 equal to x naught. This does not belong to B. All right. Hence, 0 and 1, they don't belong to F inverse B. It means what? It means that F inverse B is a subset of 0, 1, open interval 0, 1. Now F inverse B is an open set in closed interval 0, 1. Okay. Hence, in the subspace topology, this F inverse B intersection 0, 1, right? So F inverse B is an open set in 0, closed interval 0, 1. So F inverse B intersection 0, 1 will be an open set in open interval 0, 1 in the subspace topology. But F inverse B is completely contained in 0, 1, and hence this is nothing but F inverse B. So F inverse B is an open set in 0, 1. Okay. Now we know that every open set, okay, every open set in R can be written as disjoint union of open intervals. Okay. So this is an open set in 0, 1. It means that this is also will be an open set in R, right? This we can write as disjoint union of open intervals in 0, 1. So hence F inverse B is a disjoint union of open intervals contained in 0, 1. Now, so this means collection, right, of disjoint open intervals. This may be finite or infinite. Okay. Now, uh, now this F inverse X, the this F inverse X is compact, and because X is there in B, so F inverse X will be completely inside F inverse B because X belongs to B. You just see here, X belongs to B implies F inverse X will be contained in F inverse B. Okay. Now, you know that this X is a closed set. The singleton X is a closed set. So F inverse X, because F is continuous, F inverse X is a closed subset of this 0, 1. Okay. Now this is compact. Closed subspace of a compact set space is compact. So F inverse X is compact and contained in the union of, because this F inverse B is contained in the disjoint union of F inverse B, we can write as disjoint union of open intervals. So, and F inverse X is contained in F inverse B, hence F inverse X is contained in the union of these disjoint open intervals. And since F inverse is compact, so F inverse X will be contained in the finitely many these disjoint open intervals. So F inverse X is contained since F inverse X is compact, it is contained in, since F inverse X is compact, it is contained in disjoint finitely many is contained in finitely many of these disjoint open intervals AI, BI. And they will be the only open intervals from this obtained from this F inverse B containing points of F inverse X. So so basically F inverse X will be contained in some union of AI, BI, I equal to suppose 1 to n maybe. Okay. And these AIs, BIs, they are coming from that F inverse B. Now, of course, this means these AI intervals, AI BIs, these will be the only intervals uh, from the union of from obtained from F inverse B, which will meet F inverse X. So clearly, AI BI I equal to 1 n are the only open intervals uh, from uh, obtained from F inverse B, which will meet F inverse X. So I will take maybe 5 to 10 minutes more complete this. Now denote uh, put Fi equal to restriction of F over this interval, closed interval AI BI. Okay. Now we'll just see that uh, because this AI BI is contained in F inverse B. Okay. Okay. So we have this AI BI contained in F inverse B. Now, because B closure is a closed set and F is continuous, so F inverse B closure is a closed set, a subset of this closed interval 0, 1. Now, AIBI is contained in this, and hence AIBI will be contained in F inverse B closure also. Now, because this is contained in this closed set, its closure also will be contained in this closed set, because closure, you know that closure of a set is the smallest closed set containing that set. So closure of this is smallest closed set containing this. So this is a closed set containing this, and hence its closure is nothing but this closed interval, and hence this is containing this. Now what we have is, because of this, this FAI and FBI, they will be contained in B closure. Okay, they will belong to this B closure. So this, so clearly, if so, write Fi equal to F restricted over AI BI whose interval. Clearly, the endpoints of Fi, that is FAI and FBI belong to, okay, because this will serve our purpose. But definitely they are on the boundary of B. Now, if n is greater than equal to 2, then if n is greater than equal to 2, then uh, because fundamental group, right, of if you choose a ball, right, then its fundamental group is uh, trivial. Okay, so we have seen that if we have a space, then its fundamental, it is simply connected if and only if between any 2 points there is a unique uh, uh, homotopy class of paths joining those 2 points. So if we consider these 2 points, right, then we can choose another path which does not pass through this of course this path passes through x, but we can choose another path starting from here and ending here, which does not pass through this x. Okay, and that path is going to be homotopic to this path because this B closure or B has trivial fundamental group. So then if n is greater than equal to 2, then uh, if n is greater than equal to 2, then we can choose a path gi from fai to fbi in the closure of B. Simply I should write in B closure, uh, which does not pass through X. Now, for all such, you see, we have what we had is what we had is we had that this your F inverse X was finite union. It was contained in a finite union of these intervals I equal to 1 to n. So we can repeat this. So we have chosen AI, BI, right? So this we can do for I equal to 1 to n, right? So we'll be having path G1, G2, Gn in place of F1, F2, Fn. So we can replace, okay? So we can replace those portions. So if this is our sphere, right, and if this is our part, okay, then this is, suppose this is portion of F1, we are replacing with this portion G1. Similarly, this is portion of F1, suppose G1. This is portion of F2. Okay, so of course all these portions will pass through. So I should make maybe proper picture. So this is your here, and this is point X. Okay, so our we will have loop, suppose something like this, and then something like this, right? So for example, this portion we can means replace with, suppose some this portion we can replace with some portion like this. Similarly, so we can repeat we can repeat this process uh, uh, n times, and uh, obtain loop means, and obtain a loop G by replacing by replacing uh, by replacing portions portions fi I equal to 1 to n by gi I equal to 1 to n respectively. Clearly G is a loop based at x based at x naught, and not passing through and not passing through x. This completes the proof. The proof. So I will again repeat the geometrical I will repeat the proof geometrically. Okay. So what exactly we have done? Okay. So suppose we have this x naught. Okay. And we want to suppose we have a loop based at x naught, and we want to get a loop which is homotopic to this loop f, and which does not pass through some point x. Okay, so suppose we have something like this, we can have like this, then we can have something like this, then we can have something like this. Okay, and then we can have something like this, and then suppose it comes and it just it's here. Okay, now what we have to do, somehow these we can push these segments, we can push off from this x. That is what we are doing actually. So we can, if this is x and it is passing through this, we can push it, we can make it pass through this point, right? Because we can remove these segments. There are only there will be only finitely many we have seen. So what we are doing, so for example, we are considering this open ball, right? So for example, this segment we can replace it by maybe this segment, right? Next, this segment we can replace by maybe this segment. Now this one we can replace maybe by this one. Similarly, this one we can replace by someone like this. Okay, so this one we can remove x from the image of f naught. Okay, so but in this process we are getting some other loop which is homotopic to the original loop f, right? So this is uh, so one thing in this proof we have one thing that we have uh, ensured that through this point x there will be only finitely many segments pass of this f passing right through. Uh, so that is very important. So we stop here.